I'm Minivan Lee, and for those who are new here, I have lived in my minivan full-time for 2 years now. I talk a lot about city life because I've spent a lot of time here, and so I know how to maneuver through different cities. And then, of course, we talk about BLM land and living on federal land, so enjoy these videos. Welcome here. So today we're going to talk about rigs. They're mowing the lawn. We're going to talk about rigs. What kind of rig do you want? And if you already have one, do you want to change? So what types do we have? We have RVs. We have Class A, B, and C. And then we have minivans, which I love and I prefer. Minivans, we have SUVs, and then we have sedans. We have regular cars. So we're going to go through briefly all of them. So for RVs, a lot of times we think of RVs as everything has a kitchen and it's got a bathroom in it and it's got furniture. Well, kind of true. Your Class A and Bs and Cs do. Your Class A are those traveling homes, luxury homes. Oh yeah, they've got pull-outs, and I mean, I've been in them, brand new ones also. When I was at the RTR, a couple of folks I met took me in and showing to them, yeah, they're luxury. They're not missing anything. Yeah. The thing with the Class A's is, and you can see them up here, the thing with the Class A is they're very expensive to maintain, to buy, to keep up. Yeah, Class A is very expensive to own. If you're gonna get all the tires replaced, I mean, it's over $2,000 to get all the tires replaced. Towing, oh my, to get your RV towed. So here are your main categories when you're thinking about buying your rig and what type of rig that you want. So this will give you an idea, and this is for all of them. So your Class Bs look like oversized vans, and they call them camper vans. But they normally have a kitchen and a small living room. They have a combined bathroom of a shower and a toilet, and they usually have like a bedroom in them. So a little bit easier to maintain than a Class A. Your Class Cs have a cab over sleeping area. So that's how you can distinguish a Class C. They're pretty cool. And they're large enough that they could tow an extra car. A Class B, no. A Class A, yes, they can tow cars. That way you can park them when you get somewhere, and you can park them and then use your vehicle to go somewhere. Many of your Class Cs have pullouts too. You also have your cargo vans. And those are usually commercial vans or box vans. And those are converted. There's usually a build-out that's involved. In most cases, they need to be insulated because they can get really hot in the summer just because there's metal. And you can touch metal inside of a cargo van. And so it gets really hot. And then in the winter, it gets very cold. So in most cases, a converted cargo van is insulated. Then they do build out, and they have their beds areas and they have their kitchen areas. Minivans are very popular because they're great on gas. They're not as good on gas as an SUV or a sedan, but they're right in the middle, like what Goldilocks is, just right. Yeah. So it's right in the middle. In many cases, there are build-outs, and here's some examples of some build-outs. I didn't particularly want to build out, and I've mentioned that many times. I just wasn't interested in it. I like to have the floor to sit on. I believe that if you're in a minivan, it's a good idea to be a smaller person, although I've seen really tall guys in their minivans, and I've seen big girls, big guys in their Priuses. That's a sedan. So, you know, I guess size wouldn't be a serious deciding factor, but it's helpful to be smaller if you have a smaller rig. Minivan also is very stealthy. I always say the minivans, we're not the biggest, but we're the stealthiest. Easy to do your windows, get your windows tinted, have your windows covered at night when you're parking someplace. They can easily be parked in the city, in a parking lot. You know, yeah, it's easy to maneuver in a minivan. It's also easier to park. You have Class A, B, and C's, and even sometimes a cargo van and oy vey schmear. I mean, it's hard to find parking space. So then you've got your SUVs, and I know SUV RVing. Tristan, I mean, he has videos on his build out, and he's got a place for a bed. He doesn't live in it full time. He travels, and he does a lot of hiking, and he does a lot of travel videos of going places and giving information about places to travel. I believe he does have a home where he lives in for the bulk of the time. So an SUV, sure, you could live in it full time. Serene and Simple, she lives in her SUV now, full time. Now before she had a sedan. So let's go to the sedans. Yes, you can do a sedan. A lot of times what people do with their sedans is they have a tent. And when they get on federal land or BLM land or state parks, they pull out their tent. And they either sleep in it or they pull out things that they own and they put inside their tent so they have room in their SUV. If you're already on the road and you have your rig, you know, you might think about changing what type of rig that you have. You might go from a Class C to a Class B. But this discussion, I'm mainly focusing for people who are just going to get started. But please don't leave if you're already out there. You can help me out. If I miss anything, leave me a comment. Yeah. So timing is going to be very important. Are you going to sell your home first before you get your rig? It would be wise to get your rig before. And if you have a driveway someplace to park it that you can work on it, perfect, perfect. Or you can maybe park it at your son's house or your parents' house, depending on your age group. And you know, maybe your son is a carpenter and he's going to help you build it. Maybe you're a student or you're just out of college and you want to travel. A lot of times what I've seen on different channels is their dad and their brothers help build them. Or even maybe even their moms, because I've been in the trades. I do not like to be sexist on that. A lot of women work in the trades and they know how to build out things. So, you know, maybe your mom's going to help you. You and your mom are going to work this out. That'd be great. So timing is going to be important of when you're going to buy it. Now, where are you going to buy it? I bought mine on Craigslist. Go on Craigslist and look. Did you guys see that? I was like, it was just right there. Almost felt like I could touch it. It almost looked like Air Force One. I don't think it was, but there was somebody important on that plane. Oh yeah. I'm glad I saw that. Okay, I'm off a Klimt. Buddy, you say? Okay. Where are you going to find your rig? I think Craigslist is a really great place to look. And then you can go private sale and you can kind of bargain the price down a little bit. That's where I bought my minivan. And if I had to replace it, which, no, I don't want to, it would, that's where I would go again. You know, all the other places, you know, like I'm some expert on finding vehicles, but you know, you can use RV shows. If you got the money, you're gonna probably buy new RV shows, and if you're gonna get a new SUV, car lots, used car lots, you know, So there you go. I think it's important for your rig to be checked over by a mechanic, and you'll just have to work that out with your prospective seller, because and he can maybe even go with you, or maybe if you know your mechanic, he can go with you to look at it, and although it is a good idea to get it up on the rack so they can look underneath it. So you can work that out with them, but I do think it's a good idea to have your rig checked over first before you pay down on it. Okay, so you bought the rig that you want. If it's a Class A, B, or C, you might want to remodel it. Tear some things out that you don't want. If I had a choice between well, you can't have a minivan, but you have to have either A, B, or C. Well, I don't know. I guess a Class A if I had unlimited amount of money. Maybe I would. I don't know. But if I had between B and C, I'd probably go C. I've been in them, and I love that cab over bed. And I realized when I was in one of them that I would probably make that my bed, because that would be fun to look out at night, and you'd be up kind of high. It almost sort of like a bunk bed in a way. And during the day, I mean, you could make it look really nice. You'd have, pillows over it. You could set up there and just hang out during the day when you wanted to relax. Yeah, that would be cool. And then what I would do with the Class C is I would take that back bedroom and I would take the bed out. I would. And I would I would leave the closets in, but I would take the bed out. I might even take the stove out and just use a regular, like a butane stove, and maybe use what the stove part would be, maybe use it for something else. Yeah, I would kind of rework it. I'd kind of remodel if I had the money and I had the time. Yeah, I would. But that cab over bed kind of appealed to me when I looked at it. That'd be kind of cool. So I'm going to address mostly those who are thinking about minivan, SUV, or sedan. And I'm going to guess that if you're going to go in a sedan, that you already have one, and you're going to go with what you already have, because you want to get going. For some reason, you need to get out of your place, and I think we kind of talked about that. Well, we can reiterate it. Maybe you need to get out of your place. Your lease is up and you've just had it. You lost your job. You're out of school and you just need to get going. You can't find work right now, especially right now with this COVID thing. Yeah. That you can't find work right now and you just want to take off. So you might just want to go with your sedan or your SUV. So you want to think about a build-out. And what I would do is I would Google build out for sedans, build out for SUVs, because there are websites that are actually very precise on the type of rig and how to do a build out. If I was going to do a sedan, I would definitely you got to take out the back seats, which leads you into the trunk, and then you got to clean out the trunk. I would line it with something so that, trunks if they're older, trunks can be pretty nasty. So you want to really pristinely clean that out, sterilize it, and maybe even line it. You could even do it with cloth, and you could line it that way. But yeah, and then your SUV, there are great build-outs for SUVs. You can even sleep on the floor in an SUV just like I do in my minivan too. But a lot of people want to go with maybe do like cabinets on one side and then your bed build out on the other side. And then they get these mattresses. They get like foam, I think I've heard they get it at like Walmart, and they cut it down. So minivan build-outs, there are uber plans for that on the internet. There are companies that's their business, is they do build-outs for you to make it into a camper minivan. Cheap RV Living, they do minivans. Hawa, they give away minivans. They do build-outs. They're not now because of COVID, but they will resume if things ever get back to normal. They'll resume doing that, and then they give them away to somebody who applies for it, and they feel that they're in the most need, but they can also maintain it and afford to keep it. So minivans, I don't know, minivans are really cool. I have one and I love it. And other people that I have talked to that have minivans, they would not trade. They wouldn't trade it at all. We love the stealthiness of it. We can kind of maneuver and they blend in. And then mine is silver. I mean, how many minivans are silver? A lot. And so we just blend in with the rest of the crowd. So doing a build out, a lot of people, what they do is they build with wood and they build a frame for a mattress or a piece of foam for their bed. And so then they do it and they can store under it. But in a minivan, you've got all these little curves that go on. So if you have somebody in your family that knows how to build things and knows how to measure properly and allow for that, they can plan this out for you if that's what you want. And a lot of people, they want the build out. There are some that don't and some that do. That's what makes the world go round. We're all different. That's why there's all different kinds of rigs. A, B's, and C's. And I almost sing the ABC. A, B, C. So simple as do, re, mi. It's okay. Yeah. Okay, feeling a little silly today. I think that plane did it. I was like, wow. So you want to decide what you want to do with your type. And another great example of a sedan, was D. She's boxcar D now because she changed, but if you go way in the beginning of a cheap RV living, just type in cheap RV living, D car tour. She had it down. She had everything that she needed. So when you're in a sedan, you're going to probably get either a tent or a kind of a shelter thing. She had this shelter, I remember, that she pulled out while she... Whoa, this scared... Things are happening all around me here. These ducks went sliding into the water. Whoop, got a little adrenaline rush there. And I'm not going to edit that out, but she had all of her cooking equipment out. She had a regular little kitchen going on. I met her at the RTR too. She is delightful, utterly delightful. She is so much fun. So you have your rig, and you've either remodeled it, your A, B's, and C's, you remodeled it, because you can kind of remodel them. You can take out what you don't want, put something else in. You've got your minivans that you either want to build out or you want to get your bins and get things comfortable. I actually put a carpet on it. I bought a carpet and I carpeted it. Oh, let me just mention, before you start doing the build out, I really recommend, once you get it, is get to a window tinting place and get window tinting on it. With me, what I did was, you can't put heavy tinting, and every state has their own regulations, and you can get ticketed for it. But there's this gun that they put, and it's so much light that goes through. That's how they determine if this light can go through and it reads out. But all the rest of the windows, you can get limo tinting. One of the my subscribers, they commented when I talked about limo tinting on my windows, and she goes, oh, let's talk about that, do a video on that. Well, I can't really show a video on how to put limo tinting on because I don't know how to tint my own windows. I wouldn't even attempt it. I know some people do, but yeah, I would want mine professionally done. I like things to look nice. And so just go to a window tinting place. They'll do it. I got a good price too. So I got all the windows, the side windows, the pull-out windows in my minivan, and then the back window. I got those limo tinting. So nobody can see in unless there's a bright light going on at night. Yeah, then they can see. So I suggest that you get limo tinting on the windows that you can tint, and maybe lighter tinting that is legal in your state, just look it up, for your the driver's side and the passenger side. Also, do you want to keep the seats in? You want to decide, do you want seats in there or not? Do you want swivel seats? Those are an option too. You can get swivel seats. Look those up. For me, I took out every seat that was not necessary. I knew I wasn't going to be picking people up. I wasn't going to be picking up hitchhikers, and I travel alone, so I took out even the front passenger seat. The back, the third row seats in my minivan, I took those out. I took them out by myself. And so the well that they folded into, I've got stuff in there. So it took a lot of weight out of my van. And so the things that I carry actually might be equal to just the actual seats and maybe another person in there. So it helps with gas mileage. Another thing is it's a good idea to get a steering wheel lock for your rig. I mean, even if they break your windows and take out some of your stuff, at least they can't take your rig. At least you've got something left. I know that sounds sad, but you know, you just never know. So better be safe than sorry. I do use one. So once again, here's your RV cost list. And that goes for camper vans and sedans, but this will be a guideline for the cost for anything that you're going to decide to live in. This is going to be your home on wheels. I mean, this is going to be your home. And you want to know, like, your budget. You want to budget it out, how much it's going to cost. So I want to mention that today is National Nurses Day. So hooray to nurses. And I've got them in my family. Oh yeah. My daughter, she's a nurse practitioner now, but she was a nurse. She was a bedside nurse. So hooray for nurses. And they do work hard. I don't understand why they do those 12-hour shifts. It seems like it'd be better for 8 hours, and then they wouldn't get so tired. Your body, after 8 hours, I think your body pretty much says, I'm done. Yeah. But hooray to nurses. And it's also National Trades Day. So yeah, how do we observe that? Talk to our young folk and tell them you don't have to go to a 4-year college to work hard. There are jobs that can't be filled. So trade school, yeah. And I have a construction worker in my family. He's been a finished carpenter for years, and I was in the trades too, so hooray for trades. So I hope you enjoyed this, and let me know in the comments what type of rig you want, or what you have, or maybe what you're thinking about getting, and why you like your rig, and did you have a build out or not. Also, please subscribe. It helps me out. Give me a thumbs up. Ring the bell if you want to get notifications. Love you guys. Mwah.